So once again, thank you so much, Irene, Sunshine, and Tim Hamons. And you know what? They're gonna share with you how are they changing the world, one drawing at a time, and to ignite the creativity in you to achieve sustainability in this VUCA world. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together, make them feel warm, make them feel welcome. Tim and Irene Hamons, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you everyone for joining us again. And this is my dear partner, Tim Hamons. Tim.
Thank you everyone, welcome. Thank you, Irene. And just want to quickly acknowledge Irene for creating this platform. This has been her sort of labor of love, her passion project throughout, well, earlier this year. And one of her visions was to create an inspiring platform to give voice to mostly to women and to share their empowering stories. So this is what she's doing. So I really want to acknowledge she's creating her dream. And so what we're going to talk to you and share a little bit tonight is some of our visions and some of our dreams and a few of the strategies that we've used to help navigate through this crazy time. But so, you know, Irene and myself, you might know us as Art of Awakening, changing the world one drawing at a time, is on my back of my t-shirt, as Remy shared. And we go around the world and travel and draw cool stories for companies, but that's not what we're here to talk about. But in our presentation, we're going to do a bit of back and forth. Irene's more of a bit more of the left brain. I'm more of the right brain, and that's how we kind of balance in our business. And certainly there's plenty of clash. But over here is a little storyboard. So, and also think about, for yourself, while we're looking at this, what does this mean to you? And if you're inspired to draw a picture, that's at the heart of what we want to do. So what was your life like before COVID? What was that life like for us? You know, we're traveling, we're on a plane, we're doing great work, we're in front of groups, we're presenting, we're sharing, we're facilitating, we're mapping great stories for Fortune 500 companies, around Asia, and then we'd stay a few days and we'd enjoy in Bali or Phuket or India, right? And it was a great sort of balance of life. But then, of course, what came, the COVID, the disruption. And how do you frame that disruption? How do you see it? How did you talk about that? What's the narrative? Of course, the narratives of lockdown, and so many other things. It's a war. And Singapore had a bit of a better narrative about the circuit breaker. It's something that you can manage. But so COVID sort of, crashes and burns. And then what was life like after that? What was your response, individually, or as a company, or the organization that you work with? What was that like? For us, it's like broken pieces. The ships crashed, and we actually lost a couple of our dear team. It's a small company, but every person is very important. And Irene treats them she's a bit like a mother to them. She's very caring. Maybe those of you know Irene, she's very caring, very loving, and she gives much more than goes beyond in terms of nurturing and mothering. And so we had some dear relationships that were lost, partly because of COVID and other things. And of course, everything is crashed and lost in our business, because our business is around events and traveling. So what do? There's a lot of humility, a lot of pain. And what was it like for you? And what was the narrative, and how did you shape that? But then more importantly, perhaps, is out of that, what is the learnings? And of course, around the world, everyone learned how to be better at virtual. Some people learned how to bake bread. I think a lot of people learned how to bake bread in groups that we've been with. They say, what is something you do during COVID? I learned to bake bread. I learned to play guitar, do yoga with my friends on channels. But collaboration, flexibility. So tonight we're going to talk to you and share a few lessons around over here. And the frame for this is, maybe you've heard of VUCA is a term to talk about volatile, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And the opportunity for today is to help you how did we reframe VUCA so that we can surf on it? And that's maybe a picture of Irene and myself, in case you can't tell. So I'll pass it over to Irene. She's going to start with the first V of VUCA, and how did she learn to reframe that in our work? Some of it's about our work, some of it's about personal. Irene, pass away to you.
Right. So, V, volatile world. I remember when COVID hit us, many of us were actually caught in like the big why. Why does this happen? And then the big W. What am I gonna do? If that is in your thought, can you help me by typing yes? You're part of that. Yep. So to us, our business went into that question as well. Why now? We were planning our April visual facilitation lab to have 20 people in the room, both Singapore and Hong Kong. And then we have to cancel everything and we have to refund. So there were a lot of logistics. And what are we gonna do next? We are caught into, we have no clues. All our events, our work, our meetings, they all took place face-to-face, live. So we got ourselves in a state of OMG. And as we were discussing and we were talking and we were thinking, to be honest, in that first 3 months, we were just struggling. And we are thinking of, in such volatile state, what can we do? How do we reframe our mind and our purpose so that we can now have something to follow and look forward? So the first V I like to support you to look into is vision. So instead of looking at volatile, look at it as vision. So what do I mean by vision? Now I'm here to share with you one of this beautiful visual template that Tim has created. Feel free to do a screen capture, and even better, let me drop this in the chat so that you can download. If you want me to do that, please respond and say, yes, please. I don't see the yes, please, and I won't do that. All right. So, okay. Thank you. So I only give it to Yingxi. Okay, great. All right, your teaser. Here you go. I'm dropping it. So feel free to download. Now with this, actually, this is a template that we've been supporting people to set their goal, find a vision. You need to have a vision. At the top right of this part, your vision. And we have to sit down and think, will our vision where before COVID and after COVID need to change? And we use this template, not just focus on the vision. There are different parts of this template. If you take a look, and you can even sit down, brainstorm your family or brainstorm with your workplace colleague, right? Look at what are the things at the bottom you can let go. What are the gifts you have? What are things you're grateful for? All your dreams, put it into the hot air balloon and let it rise. So Tim is a great master of visualization. And hence, he put all his dream in a balloon so they can lift up, right? And we're all believers of God, and we hope that God will let it go to you. And the next, I heard of this saying, all right, we do our best, you do the rest. So that is our prayer, and that's what we do. So this template is what we call the vision for your 2022. It's great that we're coming to the almost end of the year, and you may want to use this to plan for your vision to handle this volatile world.
Thank you, Irene. Yeah, so you is in the VUCA wave, you is the uncertainty, and to shift our uncertainty to understanding. So just to preface this, I want to talk a little bit in systems thinking. They talk about two worlds, right? The world that is fixed and a world that is becoming. In the light of the pandemic, there's a knee-jerk reaction to want to look to the past, the way things were. We talk about that. When is things going to get back to the way things were, the normal? Well, there is no normal. It's gone. And we try to look to the future, but it's hard to imagine that future with the pace of change as it is so fast. And we even get stuck trying to be in the present, which is the only place that we have our power and our source. So I've come to know that visual tools and drawing is the best way to release that past and let go of that confusion, and also to reimagine. So by visualizing, I emotionalize, that helps me to create and to reimagine what's possible. And that's what we do with our clients in terms of helping them to reimagine that uncertainty and put it into a frame of what's possible. But also on a personal note, as I was researching and doing some work for this, there was a talk that said, to reimagine your purpose and your identity, to embrace your bliss, right? But not only to embrace your bliss, but also to embrace your blister. And I love that. And what that means is something that you keep coming back to that's a little bit uncomfortable, right? And so for me, I think it's speaking and doing more of this work. This is uncomfortable, but it's a way of serving, it's a way of growing, and it's something that is in a form of service. So my question to you is, what are you being called to do? And in the greater context, how can I learn to embrace, come back from this uncertainty and learn to embrace it, become a friend to uncertainty? This is a talk from a futurist called Planning for the Future Amidst the Crisis. And there's a curve at the bottom that says breakdown to resilience to transformation. And where are we on that curve? We go back and forth on that curve. But the context of that is recognizing, complexity. We're in this state of complexity, different systems, different forces that are working on us, and to help us to reframe from complexity to co-creation and compassion. So one of the things that I learned during this time and in the pandemic is, we have to let go of what's in the past, let go of who we are. How do we reframe and reform what we're doing? And I became very curious about that. And we had a bit of a good life. Clients love us. We do this great work and stages and so on. But now that's gone. So how do we reconstruct who we are and what we do? And I became curious. And one thing that I found is about how do we rebrand what we do? And I learned about this company in the US called Black & Decker that do these power tools. And their story is that you can create, with their power tools, you can create a great, a bunk bed for your child, using wood and using their tools, or you can create a deck on your backyard to have picnics and so on. But their best-selling tool was not a power tool itself. It was a simple workbench, a simple and relatively inexpensive workbench that you can fold and move around the house, so you can, set it up and bring your tools there. And it's a place to get your best work done. It's called the Workmate. I might be selling Black & Decker tools, a place to get your best work done. And I thought that's a good, metaphor for this work, the visual facilitation. It's a place to get your best work done. So we began reaching out to different collaborators that we can work with, we can bring our tools, bring in, talk at different conferences. We learned to deconstruct, as Irene mentioned, our visual facilitation lab, and brought that into a virtual offering with a partner that we work with in Hong Kong who's good with the technology. So we deconstructed, reconstructed that, and came up with an analogy and a story. So what is the story that you can create or recreate or rebrand yourself? What is a metaphor that you might use to recreate who you are? And that's the opportunity in going from complexity to co-creation and compassion. Another opportunity around compassion is taking time for self-compassion. And some tools might be meditation, right? Doing 100 days of meditation. This is a number of 100 days of meditation. Compassion and self-reflection and journaling and contemplative tools that help you to connect back to that self-compassion.
Right, the last part, ambiguous, things that is too vague for us. We cannot predict what's going to happen, and we don't know what's next. So be flexible, be agile, and that's a big word now. Everywhere you hear people about, be agile, have an agile mindset, work on the agile principle, work on the values. So at the end of the day, it's how do you develop that agile mindset and put it into some kind of practice. Now, how many of you are already signing up with whatever organization, be it NTUC or any other places, to learn agile? Right now, government is giving 90% funding. Grab that chance, okay? All right, you are just gonna get that certification no matter what. All right, and you can learn so much. For me, I'm just gonna share with you one website, okay, where I think it's more or less kind of related to agile practice. You can actually apply. So for me, I'm a person that after you learn something, you need to know how to apply it. And I like the fact that make your home a fun place, or make your workplace a fun place. So I love this website. I put it on a chat. It's called funretrospective.com. I'm not sure if you've seen that. There's plenty of activity that you can tap into. And these are brainstorming, Scrum, a lot of great tools that you can use. So you can play something with your family, you can even use it at workplace. So just keep that flexibility, keep that agile mindset. And in this VUCA stage, we can all go through it with fun.
Thank you, Irene. I just want to reinforce a few things. Cindy said to let go of comparison to others, right? and also Mavis said to co-creation is a great process in using coaching and co-creating through that process. And Cindy shared about serving and giving. I don't have a drawing for that right here. For serving and giving. But for our work, is really what drives you and what motivates you. And our invitation to you is to take time to find, the gift that's inside, the jewel and the gift, bring that out. And in my experience, drawing a simple picture is a great way to anchor that, to get clear, to let go of that complexity. So be a brave doodler. Remember, every drawing is a gift. Thank you, Irene. Thank you, Irene, for being my business partner and my wife and my co-journeyer. And I believe that
he's trying to score points.
Everything I do it for you.
Speaking of that, we're just gonna give Tim a bit of an airtime, like how we did it earlier on. I'm just gonna make it croon just 2 lines, okay? Can you just croon that line? Just go for it.
Da, 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 da. Everything I do it for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Tim, Brian, Adam, Hamons in the house. Is it just me, or does this guy resembles the man himself? So I thought the sharing was really, really wonderful. Thank you so much, Irene and Tim. But first thing, I would like to pay attention to the comments section. We've got Miss Rebecca Chin giving a comment saying that I believe this session speaks to many audience in varying ways. So well done, all the speakers. And Ying Ci mentioned that there is no new normal and just the next normal. So let's all brave the brave new world.